Man, let me do my little intro. Guys, welcome. It's happy Friday. It's Vladis. Oh my god, today's been a day. Interesting, very interesting day. And you guys can't hear me. Now you guys can hear me because I'm, the best streamer in the world that doesn't make any mistakes. Hi guys, happy Friday. It's Vladis. Today's been a very interesting day. Nothing too much, right? Nothing too crazy. Just, outing a very controversial add-on that was myth, legend, artifact of sorts. Brought that to life, which pleased some people, upset others. So let's talk about that. I want to make it very clear. I don't have any problems or any issues with guilds. I have problems with individuals. And I know certain guilds have a reputation based off of the individuals. We all get it. I understand it. And, coming from phase 1 to phase 2 to now phase 3, we just live in we live in a society. I don't want to be all joker, but I mean, it's that I feel like has been corrupted, and we just started cyber. We just started. I'm literally opening up right now. We're going to talk about the whole overlay rarity add-on, talk about my feelings towards it, talk about, who's guilty, and my whole thing is that you don't have to believe anything, because we've seen it. Like, I've seen it. I know you've seen it. I've talked to my guildies. I've talked to people. And my thing is that I've seen people in phase 3, and this is even, you can discount the whole, the white circle reticle, right? We all knew that. People were doing that too. And my whole thing is people were using that as a scapegoat to say, there's no actual add-on. We're talking about the white reticle. And it's like, wait a minute. No. Now that I know the truth, people were just using that as an excuse for what? And, I don't want to paint, any certain individual or whatever, but I was on Reddit today, and someone was talking about the whole, the whole thing basically. And I want to show, because one of the other content creators, our boy Lude Lloyd, he's been on my show before. I brought him on for the Rogue and stuff like that. I like the dude. But of course, he's in a guild called Polar, and many people don't like Polar. And he had some things to say. And so I just want to share those things real quick. So let's open that up, and hi, I'm right here. All right. So, basically this post, just to give context, was all about the overlay, it being real. We spoke about it. He gives a timestamp of when me and Flanker were talking about it. This is what's going on, right? And, we also got confirmation, let's just say this real quick too, from Intrepid, that, the short and long-term initiatives underway to combat stuff like this, whether real or rumor, which it's not rumor, it's real. There likely always will be, to some extent. This particular example will be resolved with the changes away from static rarity that are currently on the PTR and expected to be in the next major update, which is the 0.17. So this is great. So we know that this add-on will be completely rendered useless. It'll be dead once this 0.17 update comes out, which is great. Amazing. Love it. Okay. So go back to Lloyd's thing. It's real. To keep the drama minimized, I won't name guilds. Why? I'm not saying I love drama, but if you know and you have proof, so this is the thing. Like, I made the whole thing with the screenshots with the supple, right? And I wasn't trying to go after supple. Like, these were given to me by someone in supple. And my whole thing with that, just to kind of give context, with the supple memes, is those were actual memes. I understand that. I saw it. It was literally like you had Halo ammo or whatever. My problem with those supple memes was that there was people in supple that knew the overlay add-on really existed and had the actual links to purchase those add-ons. But it was almost like sidelined to just, let's make it seem like a joke. So again, like, I feel like they were in this damned if you do, damned if you don't, but I wished that whoever was in supple that had those things were just to blast it into the community and say, hey, I'm exposing this. This is what's going on. But that didn't happen. Why? If you were innocent, if you had nothing, you know, and again, my whole thing is that this is a community where if you belong to a guild, people are going to be like, oh, well, supple actually, they have the, you know, the, what do you call it? The website link. So clearly they're guilty, right? And then Polar is going to be like, oh, we never had them. And it's going to be this thing. But I feel like it's going to be that thing either way. It's going to be that thing either way, right? Like, it's just, you know, Polar is going to blame supple. Supple is going to blame Polar. You know, it's been this way since phase one. Like, we have guilds that, you know, like whether it's Lineker versus Envious, we've had this before. You know what I mean? But I think if you can start with the truth will always set you free, regardless of the memes or whatever. And when I was trying to find the truth, this is the other thing that really pissed me off. When I was trying to find the truth, no one would tell me shit. No, I went through so many people, degrees of people, to find, does this actually exist? And I've been doing this for weeks, mind you. Okay. O'Keefany, brother, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. And no one would tell me anything. No one will tell me anything. And here's the other part about it too. No, I know it's not just Polar. I know it's not. Again, this is why I'm not trying to like badmouth, you know, a specific guild. You know, there's definitely RMTers as well. You know what I mean? There's probably people in other guilds too that aren't even in Polar or supple or anything. Like, it's, and again, I remember seeing people, the majority of people I saw when I was playing in game were guildless. Like, when I would go to like I saw a whole bunch of basalt and granite, I was like, oh, I'm going to go mine that. And I would just see like a guildless person run, hit one basalt node, hit another one, and then literally just leave the rest. And again, this isn't white reticle I'm talking about, because in order to do that, you had to get on your mount and physically go to each node. This person didn't do that. They went to two very specific nodes and then got them and left. So, you know, it is what it is, kind of thing. Okay, let me read this. I'm sorry, I'm squirreling. Let me just read this real quick and keep going. So Lloyd is saying it's real. Keep the drama to minimums. I won't name guilds, but people in the scene will know who I'm talking about. One guild was in a guild's Discord who is well known for RMT/swiping in other games and saw messages of people asking for overlays and stuff. This was brought to the main Discord to call them out, and the other guild defended by either underplaying it, mocking it, or denying it. Whether they actually used it or not is not known. Which has just been guild drama/propaganda. But of course, that's always the case within Ashes, right? It's always propaganda. It's always drama with guilds. It is what it is. However, there is a real overlay static rarity, and cheats are out there. And, you know, of course, like, we knew that, saw my video about it. It is what it is. While we have to remember that this is an alpha, you know, there will be bad actors. The information this early is extremely valuable for Intrepid, as well as frustrating for the player tester based and the economy of phases as we continue. I said, the problem I have is when I find out about it and I talked about it, I knew something that had been going on, but I had no proof except the memes that were being passed around. The first thing is in P2, the community wasn't memeing overlays regarding rarity, probably because it didn't exist. Then this started to happen, and everybody's all saying, oh no, it's fake. It's a joke. Nothing to see here. If anyone knew about the overlay and had the wet swipes to prove its existence, why wouldn't anyone talk about it or make a video about it or just even put those links in the Ashes Discord? Like, and say, hey, these exist. This is real. Or even, not even the links, but just like the actual screenshot the way I did. Like, you couldn't see the links to it because I didn't want to give those out. But you saw it, like, it's there. Let me see. The silence from people is what kills me. It was there, and the community wasn't wrong in thinking that there have been people from certain guilds that had an agenda and weaponized it against others. I'm going to talk about this later tonight when I stream, but yeah, when people were asking about the overlay was really real, people said no when they actually knew that it was true. This is my problem. And again, like I can understand it from, like, our guild doesn't want to be tied to this thing or whatever the case is. But like, my whole thing is, I'm just going to say this on stream. I don't care. If you don't feel comfortable outing it yourself, private message me on Discord, message me the proof. I'll do it. I don't give a shit. Like, if I'm going to be hated from guilds, it's whatever. I don't care. What I care about is the community, the overall community, the good people that are spending their time testing this game, you know, when they could be doing something else. Like, it's precious to be actually in this testing phase and doing the raw data, the gathering, the crafting, the processing. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot. This isn't just some very kiddie or kiddish MMO where you can spend just a couple hours, like, even though that's what I do, but many people are here for 8+ hours. You know what I mean? That's a lot. So it really pissed me off when people were still with this uncertainty about whether this particular add-on existed. The other thing that really pissed me off was that this add-on was pretty much known throughout certain small circles since the start of P3. So screw the whole white reticle thing. Like, even though that was still a thing at the start of P1, people were doing this like week 1 of P3. This is huge. Now, mind you, people already know certain static spawns, like with willows, a braidwood, you know, and people will wait and have timers. They will put those timers in their guild discords and people will spawn camp them. So when you are there, like, as just some person, like in a smaller guild, and being like, man, where's all the weeping willow at? That's your problem, because they're already camped. They're spawned. As soon as they spawn, person's already there to chop it, logs off, goes about their day. Like, that's why it's almost near impossible to find, you know, braidwood or weeping willow, you know, and if you do find it, it's probably not going to be of any kind of rarity, because all of the good willow or the good braidwood is already known about the rarity. So it's, to me, it's just stupid. And again, I have no problem if you want to send me a screenshot of a person in game that you feel like has some shady behavior. I'll put it. I don't care. I don't care. And I'm not trying to witch hunt or anything like that, but people need to be accountable. And I feel like there are people in this community that haven't had accountability. And whether it's by the accountability because maybe Intrepid didn't want to push that so much in phase 1, like, hey, it's kind of like a wild west here in Ash's community sometimes. I don't mind being, you know, just trying to be all cool and say the guy from Tombstone, but I fucking just, like, my mind blanked. Val Kilmer's character, Jesus Christ. Anyway, totally butchered that. Completely sorry. Low-key, I wouldn't be surprised if there were more game-breaking things like this. And keeping them. Doc Holiday, thank you so much. Jesus Christ. Let me see. Vladis, wait, we did that. We got the supple writer chat from our spies and leaked it. So we also DM'd you to link the overlays 3 weeks ago. Who? You? Wow. You literally did. And I completely missed it. He's right. He messaged me on the 4th. Completely missed it. That was on me. Jesus. I'm literally reading it right now. I was stunned because, I mean, sometimes I get a message all the time, but he did. He messaged me. Jesus. If only I was a better content creator. Man, well, that's the thing. Like, as soon as I started to find out about it, is when I started to make a big deal about it. And, you know, Tim, if I can call you Tim, you're not exactly known for always being truthful yourself. Okay. So forgive me if I didn't think it was BS at first, but yeah, no, you're right. I see it right here. You messaged me. Here, let me see. I'll screenshot it real quick. 1 second. Right here. Can you see it? He sent me this on the 4th. After some research, I found the overlays being used in mass. You're going to have to translate the second one out of Russia, but these are the current overlays being used. Send it to Steven, etc. But people are saying it's fake or just covering their tracks. So I'm curious, Tim, was anybody in your guild using this that you know of? If he's still there. Because I hope this was reported. And again, like when I heard it from Flanker, like Flanker says that he had, you know, if you watch the 1v1 episode, he was talking about how he had emails, tunes, names, a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I don't know if Flanker's going to release any of that to the public. I didn't talk to him about that. I don't know if he's going to do that. I don't think he's going to do that. Now, mind you, if I had the research or if I had screenshots of like people in game, like chopping a tree or whatever, and said like with context, like this person right here is doing shady shit, like I'm just going to post it. Like, why not? If you see this person in the game, they're probably doing shady shit. And also report them, report their behavior. That way now they're on Intrepid's radar to maybe have someone ghost around them and be like, why is this person only hitting the higher rarity ones only? You know what I mean? Like if I was an Intrepid dev and I was like ghosting behind somebody and I can see, they're only going to like epic or higher, and they know specifically which one it is. You can almost tell because any other gatherer would go and like, oh, I'm going to chop oak or Western larch. Any Western larch or oak they're going to chop it. That's just what it is, right? Because you don't really know. So you're just going to chop them all to see what you're going to get from it, right? Like if you're getting very specific ones, it's because you have some data or indication that's letting you know what it is. And I'm talking beyond just the visual representation. No, we're playing the game 18 hours a day. We don't use hacks. We just push systems in the game. It's the reason Intrepid will never ban us. We break their systems, not hack the game. Well, I hope, that y'all can keep that philosophy going forward, because honestly, it has to suck to have like a rep of being hated. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that hate Polar. You know what I mean? And I love Lloyd. You know what I mean? Like I've talked to him as a content creator before he was Polar. I've had many conversations with the dude. He's a good dude. He's good hearted. But it sort of is what it is. You know what I mean? But Supple 100% RMTs the fuck out of the game. And some of their players are willing to hack. But to be honest, the culture in TNL was all about that. So I don't know, maybe it's because there's new. Well, to me, it's all kind of hearsay. Like, I need proof. You know what I mean? If anybody has proof, and it's always hard to kind of produce like, oh, well, this particular person in this guild, you know what I mean? Unless I see like a screenshot of like a person's name with that guild tag and them chopping a tree, but it's like, well, what if they were just chopping a tree? You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it's hard in that sense. Like, I get it. But I mean, for me, it's like, all I'm glad is this freaking add-on is done. But that also doesn't discount what Tim is talking about, which is the actual RMT about, you know, I've said this many times, you know, you go to g2g.com, thousands of people have purchased gold with literally no account bans or anything. I hope that Intrepid does ban them. I hope they do or are accountable for doing that shit. Because if you're literally going to buy gold when it doesn't matter, because I can tell you Alpha 2 does not matter in the grand scheme of things, how much more incentivized those same people are going to be when the game is actually on the line, when we're in the live game. Do you think they're just not going to do it then? Come on, dude. If you're literally going to buy gold for a fucking alpha, I am pretty sure you're going to buy gold for a live launch. Like, that's just how it is. And I'm telling you right now, G2G ain't going out of business. A number of these websites aren't going to go out of business. So they're still, like I said, there's going to be this cat and mouse game between Intrepid and these RMT websites. Graven, dude, thank you so much for the sub, brother. Thank you. I hope you have a happy Friday, brother. I report a lot of people for suspected RMT, not sure what they're making names public would do. It's not like they're showing the public how to dupe or something like that. No. Yeah. And that's what I mean, right? Like the whole, you know, the whole idea of keeping it hush hush is just stupid to me, because we kind of find as a community, like I can guarantee you the crate dupe, they exploited the crate dupe. Did people just not know about that? Of course, people fucking know about it. So what's this whole thing of like, oh, let's just keep quiet about it and report it to Intrepid? Like, you know, that's one thing I really don't agree with Lloyd here. Like, I would not keep quiet about that. Talk about it. Be louder about it, because now people are going to be angry about this, and it's probably going to light a fire under Intrepid to fix it. Because honestly, if it was me, I would have just put the crate system offline, just like the freeholds. I'd be like, hey, we're just going to take this whole system offline and it'll come back whenever we fix, you know, these issues. That's it. But, you know, it kind of just becomes like an is what it is kind of situation. RMT is impossible to stop entirely. No, you're totally right. It's never, ever going to completely stop. However, this is why when I talked to Steven on my interview with him last year, I specifically mentioned this because this is something I've always been very passionate about as an MMO player. And I've always said, you need to permaban buyers. Because if you permaban buyers, it's going to scare them. They're not going to risk their entire account every time. Like, if you get banned enough times, which I know people say hardware ban, you know, whatever. I feel like if they got up to level 50, right? Like, give like a live launch of Ashes, level 50, you get all this gear, and then you're literally permabanned, and you have to start everything all over in this game. That's a lot. You know, and I would think by, you know, maybe buying their second account, they may have learned their lesson, but maybe not. And you just ban them again. And eventually they're just going to get tired of like having to restart from scratch over and over. That's why I don't believe in suspensions. Like, if you have the proof that they actually bought gold, you permaban their ass. Like, no questions asked. You have the proof. They got traded gold from a known RMTer. You're done. That's it. You're literally done. But there's literally no MMO company that has a zero tolerance policy on buying gold. People that buy gold in WoW get suspended. They don't even get banned. They get suspended. Now, this is before the WoW token. This is before all that shit. But people literally just got suspended. It was a slap on the fucking wrist. So, like, if Intrepid can be that one MMO company that actually puts their foot down the way I think these other companies should do, like I think if you were to buy gold in any MMO, you should just be permabanned. 100%. Just be permabanned. Why are we giving these people another chance? Like either play the game legitimately or fucking leave. It's plain and simple. Let me see. Current cope is that Intrepid is training AI to catch RMT later. I think the current cope is, you know, Intrepid, you know, is hopefully, you know, getting some back end tools to catch people. But I think the realistic mouse game that's always been in my head is that there's going to have to be Intrepid developers buying gold and tagging the RMT accounts. Like that's what I would do. Like I know people say, oh, just ban the RMTers. Like it's like hitting one spider and 1,000 pop out. Like it's literally a never ending hydra. Like I say, starve the sellers by scaring the shit out of the buyers. That's what you do. You know, have those buyers or have those sellers there with all of their gold. And as soon as they trade to somebody, you permaban that account. Because then what's going to happen is that the buyer is going to then leave a review and saying like, wow, as soon as I got traded, like I got permabanned, like 1-star review, 1-star review, right? So then it's like every single time that a buyer buys gold from us, they literally get permabanned. Then the G2G people have to be like, well, is it even advantageous for us to sell in this game? Like maybe, maybe not, because now there's less and less and less people like buying gold from Ashes because people don't trust us. You know, that's the thing. Like that's what needs to happen in my mind. Like you need to track the sellers to then permaban the buyers, because sometimes, you know, the buyer goes to that website and they think, oh, I'm just gonna do this one time. Like, you know, Arcadia set selling for 2,000 gold. I only got 1,000 gold. Like how much is another 1,000? You know, like it's stupid. But if you want to do that in a test and you're desperate to do it in a test to prove some kind of EPing, I guess, you know, like this is the thing I don't understand is why are people trying to be so competitive in a literal test that doesn't matter? I don't get it. To prove what? To who? And I guarantee you they don't even care. Like, Tim, do you care if Supple beat you in a race to something or beat you in a node war? Would that make you so angry that you're just like, oh, these Supple people, they're just so good at the game? Like, no, I honestly don't think it really would matter or care to people. Like, who cares? But it's like, I feel like there's this, I feel like it's a very small segment of the Ashes community, but a very passionate one that really tries to go this like plus ultra, you know, shout out to my hero, in Ashes. And I guess it's fine. It's fine. But I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, it's so much work to just catch people now when the game is going to wipe anyway. Well, I mean, it is work, but I feel like it's worth putting in because I can guarantee those RMTers aren't going to go away. You know what I mean? And if you can flag those accounts, that's all you need to do for as an Intrepid. It's like, oh, wow, we guess how many, like we already have like 300 flagged accounts that are all known RMTers. Anytime something gets traded from those people, we're just going to permaban them. Very simple. Excuse me. Very simple. No, we wanted to fight them, but they did everything they could to avoid it and do weird content denial stuff. That's what I mean. So it's like, I really don't get what the point of getting all this legendary gear when you're literally not even going to use it. You know what I mean? Like it's, you're just going to get all this gear to be all decked out to then not even PvP. It's just weird. It's so weird. I'm showing up on featured. Shut up. On Twitch? No way. No way. Yeah, no, I'm not. I was like, no, I'm not. I mean, that would be crazy, but you know, Cry would not play if they remove trading. I don't want them to remove trading. Like, I love the fact that you can actually pass on your old gear to someone in your guild. Like, if you got a really good piece made, you can either sell it in the auction house or you can pass it on to someone else in your guild. Like, I love that. I don't want Ashes to be another MMO that has bind on equip or binds when pick up. Like, I really hope that that is one thing that could actually make it to live, is the actual like trading aspect of the game. But I realize that that aspect is also a huge treasure trove paradise for RMTers, because then they can sell full sets, which people have bought in P1. You know, I've covered this too many times. I covered RMT. Like in phase 1, people were literally buying full regalia sets from Carfin. They were like $400 at that time in phase 1, and people bought them. Like you can go to the, what was it, G2G as well, and see like how many people have bought them. It was wild. Haven't seen you in a while. How's the stage of the game at the moment? I feel like currently it's probably in a state that it needs work. Let's put it that way. Phase 2, I felt, was like in a better state, because even just like walking and running in the game, like it was way smoother. There's so much hiccups now. There's a lot of Unreal Engine crashes. There's also a lot of dupes in the economy currently. There was a static node rarity that came back. So I think currently, I think if you haven't played Ashes in a while, I'd say to come back potentially in 0.17. But I would even say to even wait even further to like maybe 0.18, which 0.18 update is going to be the Harbinger's update. 0.17 will be hopefully, you know, next week, next Tuesday, if everything goes well in the PTR. I'm not saying I want them to remove trade. I just think if you couldn't trade gold, it would make RMT almost useless. I feel like players would just use something else to trade. I know you can't trade Glint, but I don't know. It would be interesting if gold was untradeable. And I think that'd be interesting to see from the community too. Like if gold, like if that was an aspect in Ashes that you could not trade. I haven't thought about that with actual like sincerity. So forgive me for not speaking about it too quickly, but like because I think about like my alts, I think about like stuff like that, and I feel like if you couldn't trade gold, I would rather have a gold be account wide. I think that would solve at least your own issue, right? Like let's say if you had an alt, you know, that you wanted to buy some stuff with, but your main had the majority of the gold, but your alt has none. I think it would just be better than to have your gold just account wide. I think that would be a good like compensation there. You know what I mean? I mean, most people don't buy gold. They buy materials, emblems, etc. Well, yeah, I mean, I would say the thing is that, Eric, dude, thank you so much for the sub on YouTube, man. Thank you. I want to say that when it comes to people in general, it only takes, I think, less than 5% of the players to start RMTing and buying gold that causes literal hyperinflation in the economy. Like, and depending on, because again, that small pocket of people can then start buying large sums of gold, right? And then those people can then buy out auction houses, start raising the roof on pricing because they can corner the market because they have a shit ton of gold. Like I've seen this happen in WoW like a lot, you know, especially back then. Not now. Gold's kind of ridiculous now because of the WoW token, but I'm talking more so like old school WoW. So it's very advantageous for, you know, for people that buy gold that want to corner the market. I just figured out how to break whatever changes you make to the economy, gold mats, whatever it is. What's the thing? Most people do. Like, I mean, there's a lot of smart individuals that play MMOs. They know how to break certain systems. They know patterns in economies. They understand, like, once they can get a good grasp of like the gathering, the processing or crafting or just whatever game loop the economy is in most MMOs, sometimes it's very easy to like Like in New World, people caught on very quickly to level in that game was just through the warboard, right? Like people were exploiting the shit out of that, right? So it just became like an is what it is kind of situation. We see you can just get with someone and sell a cheap item on the marketplace for an extremely high price for gold. That's what I mean, right? Like there would be ways to kind of like circumvent gold being untradeable in that sense. But I don't know, man. Like I feel like it's just a game that Intrepid has to battle. Like, and if you're gonna battle it swinging, dude. Be known. That's why I told Steven when I talked to him in my interview, I said, I really wish Intrepid will be known as that MMO company that you don't fuck with. Because there's a lot of MMO companies you can fuck with and be totally fine. Like you'll never have your account compromised. Your account will never be permabanned. Like unless you do something really ostentatious. But for the most part, if you're just buying gold, it's just like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's what most companies do because they want you to keep paying. They want you to keep paying the sub. They want you to keep buying the expansions. Like, so, you know, if Intrepid does want to be different from these other companies, they need to be like very hardcore in the stance that if you buy gold in our game, you will be permabanned. No questions asked. And if you're like, oh shit, like, because let's just be honest, at the end of the day, Flanker, dude, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, dude. At the end of the day, when Ashes actually releases, the game's only be $15 a month. It's not like Ashes is going to have a box cost plus subscription. It's just going to be subscription. Illusion, dude, thank you so much for the follow, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see nothing being done to Armentiers, though. No, I don't see anything either. And we haven't heard anything from Intrepid about it either. Like, and here's the thing, because of how small Intrepid's team is, it's probably this juggle of like, well, do we continue making improvements and fixing the bugs and fixing the dupes in the game? Or do we stop doing that to then, you know, do the RMT stuff, right? And again, like it's a hard call to make. Like if the devs were asking Stevens like, hey, we have issues in our game, you know, the crate dupes, we have, you know, the static node rarity, we have a bunch of economy stuff that we have to adjust, you know, do we deal with that? Or do we deal with the thousands of potential people that are purchasing gold from websites that are hyperinflating the economy? And most people say both, right? Like any person will be like, oh, clearly you just do both. But if you don't have the resources to do both, then what is a higher priority? And I think the fixing the game is of the priority for them currently. Because again, yes, bind gold is an issue, but we have to remember that we're in an alpha, right? Like we're in an alpha. It's going to happen. Weird gloves. So these gloves are my old man gloves. I use this because I've been playing WoW and MMOs for 18 years. So I developed a serious carpal tunnel in my 30s, and these gloves saved my ass because I literally thought I had to stop playing games because my carpal tunnel was so bad. These gloves gave me second life, and you know, I love them to death. So make fun of them all you want. I have a shit ton of them. I'm on my fourth pair of those, dude. Love them. Thank you, Graven. I did a whole, like, there was one live stream that I did where people saw my gloves and they were asking me about them. And, I just talked them up and people are like, hey, no, hey, I'm going to try them. I'm going to try them. And Graven was there. And it was really cool to hear people that I ended up buying them and loved them. I was like, yeah, dude, like I love them, man. Like, hey, I'm going to be 40 next year. I know I'm going to play games for the next 20 years. And I made a big plea to people. If you're in your 20s right now and you think you're king shit and you're fucking playing FPSs, you're playing all these games for 18 plus hours, buy these. Don't jeopardize your health, you know, because you think you're Hercules or you think, oh my God, I'm so good. These save you, like seriously. And if you're going to be like the way I was and just not give a fuck, you're going to pay for it in your 30s. Just going to tell you right now, like you're going to pay for it. Let me see. I'd rather work them on making the game better than worrying about RMT right now. Yeah, Illusion. I completely agree. I completely agree. What's the name of the gloves? So it has VS on them. Um, but it's this long link that I had on Amazon. I'll have to go and find it. Before I get off, I will find that link. I will, and I will link them. Okay, let me just do it now. Victoria's Secret, yes, 100%. Shh, it's a secret. Let me see if I can find them right now. I got a pair of those gloves too. It's so cool the fact that people actually bought the dev gloves. Let me see. I know one of my Oh, okay, so now I'm on my Discord. People did message me and says I was on my featured. Nice. I was on featured on YouTube, not on Twitch, but that's still cool. Let me see. If I'm not mistaken, I think. Here we go. I found the link. This link right there. I told you it's an Amazon link. It's freaking long, but there you go. But yeah, I personally would rather them fix the game. Like there's still, issues that I find in the economy, especially so early, in the game cycle, like level 0, level 10, level 20, because in the grand scheme of things, we're going to be level 30, level 40, and then eventually end game level 50. I just don't think that the current level 10 through 20 needs to be as much as it currently is. Do I want it to scale? Absolutely. But I think if it were to scale at this speed, the base, we're eventually going to get into a territory where to craft one piece, you're going to need like 6 separate tabs in your storage to hold all of the materials needed. You know what I mean? And it's going to get ridiculous after a while. On the phone, it fills up the page. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's an Amazon link. But yeah, I want Ashes to be fun for people starting out and getting them adjusted to how this game works, right? Getting adjusted to how gathering, processing, and crafting work. And as you progress in the game, if the game's fun enough, they're going to start to realize that, oh, wow, this game, like you're already in love with it. So now you're going to realize, oh, wow, this is going to be a progression. This is going to be a journey. This is going to be something that I'm gonna have to work towards and stuff like that. But that's like towards the upper tiers like that. To me, I'm thinking like level 30, level 40, level 50, you know what I mean? Like maybe high-end journeyman to master grandmaster. But I think mostly master to grandmaster is going to be the spots where those players are going to really feel like the quantity of things needed, right? The flow of it. But now they're already used to the flow because of how the earlier tiers are. Like to me, earlier tiers are meant to like grab players' attention, to grab like a casual that, may be in my certain position where they really want to play an MMO for the next 10 years, but they're a father, they have kids, they put their kids to bed, and maybe they only have like a couple hours before they have to go to sleep because they have work in the morning to play the game. And I feel like that particular demographic is insanely high in the MMO community. Most people that are wanting MMOs are 35 plus. I don't really hear too much of the youngins, the people in their 20s hungering for an MMO. Not saying that there isn't people that do. I'm sure there are people that are. But I think the vast majority of the people asking for MMOs are probably 35 plus, meaning those people are probably, family men, have kids. So we can't just discount those people that have potentially 2 to 4 hours a day to play the game. You know what I mean? So that's why like I'm here, and people have talked so much shit about me. Like, oh, Vlad, you're a super casual, you're a Care Bear, you're a WoW player, you're this, you're that, it is what it is. Like, I don't care. Like I'm going to be 40, dude. People can name call me on there and all they want. Like, I'm not going to start crying about it. But I'm here to provide an aspect of the game that I am passionate about because I am passionate about Ashes. And and talk to that demographic of players, because that's exactly where I am. I'm in that demographic. So, you know, am I going to speak to the demographic of people that, you know, aren't with anybody that can play the game for 18 plus hours? Hell no. I mean, you can go follow Flanker for that. You know, you can go watch his stream. If you want to be a super hardcore sweat and ashes, you're literally in the wrong stream. Okay. I am not here to advocate any kind of hardcore mode or God mode or how to do all this insane shit in Ashes of Creation. I am here to provide a perspective on Ashes of Creation that comes from a casual perspective. That's it. This is a new streamer for Ashes. He's 32 and going into the game completely blind. He wants no hints and no help. It is refreshing and frustrating at the same time. Oh, that's interesting. Hi, Vladis. Regarding the inflation of gold, I felt there was an important part missing in your video. Hundreds of crates have been spawning after daily reset in the crate stations for weeks. That was the biggest drive for inflation until it got fixed eventually, but far too late. Yeah, I know. I saw people were mentioning the whole crate issue and everything like that, which again, if this was an issue, I would have just took the crate system offline, but the damage is already done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the gold is already out there. And this is sort of the same kind of damage that happened whenever they hot fixed, or I don't think it was really a hot fix, but they did a patch to where they allowed a bunch of gear to drop from mobs, and mobs were dropping like epic, heroic, legendary gear. And I think it was literally a day or maybe a day and a half. The next day, they literally just, hey, we're turning off gear now. Why? You know, like, you know, but I feel like I can understand why. I think maybe it was because they completely overshot it. But at the same time, like it just, the people that took advantage of that took advantage, and the people that missed it missed out. So it's gameplay. It will want to have to wait, hold on. It is a game, play it the way you want. It's a game, play it the way you want. Don't have a try hard it. Yeah, no, and that's exactly my mentality. I was talking to Flanker about that yesterday. I was like, I really want to play Ashes in a way that kind of reminds me of like my first adventure into WoW. You know what I mean? And I know I'm way more smarter. I know MMOs more. I didn't know shit about MMOs back in 2005, but I know a lot about Ashes and I know a lot about, you know, MMOs, but I still want to do what I want to do. I want to level how I want to level. And, you know, if I get left behind even in my own guild, then so be it. But I think MMO launches are so fun, man. They're so much fun. As shit as most of them are, like for starts, like it's just this euphoria and this excitement and this adrenaline that you get. You only get one chance at that. You know what I mean? And I just want to have fun. That's it. Like I just want to have fun. And the people that have fun by racing, cool. More power to you. I've done that race. I've raced strangers that didn't even give a shit about my progression after I got there. I just don't want to race strangers anymore. I don't need a stranger's validation because I got there first. I need my own. Let me see. Set drops to common only. That way it encourages people to craft over farming to sell them. Absolutely. Completely agree. I think decon kits should actually produce more from drops. So that way it's like, hey, if you want to actually decon it to actually make that piece, you know, even better, right? So that way you can decon a crafted piece and it gives you like a certain amount of stuff. But if you decon a mob dropped piece, it actually awards you maybe more components and materials because it's actually from mob, and mob drops are supposed to be rare. I think more rare it is, the more it should come from the decon kit. Illusion and Museltoes. Museltoes. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the follow. Thank you. A good launch can set an MMO in the right direction. Absolutely. I mean, how many good MMO launches have we had in the past 10 years? Let's just be honest. Let me see. I want to tell him so bad. Do this, but can't. Do what? What are y'all talking about? Let me see. How much gold do you think you and your guild have used this phase so far? Oh, you're asking Flanker? I have no idea. Cyber dude, thank you so much for the gifted subs, brother. Thank you. Very much appreciated, man. I usually think Flankers Guild probably has used thousands, probably like as a guild, probably thousands. Let me see. Bologna's just a hot dog pancakes. Oh, that's so gross, dude. I don't like that visualization in my head now, Wagsy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Ugh. But yeah, I mean, there's basically a lot of stuff that I think with Ashes of Creation, you know, is a wipe in order. And you know, we got confirmation that, oh, did I even mention this? I thought we did read this, but so he says that the aesthetic rarity change is resonating. We do not have plans to wipe right now, but and any consideration of one will be done with extreme caution. I think it's fair to say that we've clearly heard everyone's feedback on what issues are that are present and should not be present the next time servers start fresh. So it's like, okay, so we got confirmation that a wipe isn't going to probably happen, but maybe a fresh start. Like if you read this backwards, what does it say? It says fresh start server. So I don't know. And again, people don't want to wipe, right? So it's like, okay, I'm not going to wipe, but there will be a new server that people can play on. And my whole thing is that if you want to play on the new server, then play on the new server. But I feel like, to me, I've said this before, I've said it for the past week or so, if they don't wipe, they're probably going to add a fresh start, because you're not going to have marketing and say, hey, players, come over here and play Ashes of Creation on a server that's been duped, exploited, and hyperinflated with gold. Like, they're going to give them a brand new start. And I can guarantee you, like, I hope to God, and we haven't got anything of on PTR, but man, I really want them to do Renkai on the 0.18 update. If they can release Renkai for 0.18 for Harbingers, I am literally going to be on that fresh start server as a Renkai Ranger. 100% going to play a Renkai. Let me see. Yes to a wipe, but not yet. Harbingers and economy needs to be in solid working condition. Well, and I think, again, the biggest culprit in my mind was static node rarity. The second biggest thing was this crate issue. The other ones, I think, are very minor adjustments, if that. Like minorly adjusting some quantities, reducing some processing fees, I don't think would be hard for Intrepid to do personally. But the other problem too with gold is that, think of any other MMO from levels 10 or 20. Like, who is going to have like 1,000 gold at level 10 or level 20? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's just too much gold being done. And I wouldn't care if people were like, you know, hey, like the richest person on the server has like 10 gold. You know what I mean? Like, because I think about it in the grand scheme of things of like a live launch, and I would be like, yeah, that's probably right. Like whenever I'm playing a game, I don't really have a lot of gold when I'm level 10. I don't have a lot of gold even when I'm level 20, you know? But in Ashes, I understand that it is a completely different MMO from a lot of the other theme park MMOs. But I think currently the gold floor is way too fucking high for us being such low levels. So I think that also needs to be kind of reined in a bit as well. Let me see. Tolnar Falconer is what I want the most. Tolnar, I don't think is going to happen. I don't think Tolnar is going to happen. I think Tolnar is going to happen maybe after live launch. I think the Tolnar might happen potentially, I don't know, first expansion of Ashes of Creation, I would say. I think if people are right, about beta being end of next year, I don't think they have time for Tolnar. Could be wrong. I've been wrong about many things before in the past, but I don't know. Let me see. Week one, we had hundreds already. Could be, well, and again, it's like, well, what was that due to? Like, how were people earning hundreds of gold week one? Was that because of grind spots? Was that RMT? Was that, the duping of the crates? Was that like, what was that due to? You know what I mean? Like, I think again, there's like a lot of people that I knew, like a lot of people on the server were broke. Like they could do like a couple of batches here and there to process, and then they were broke. So it's like, what were some players doing to have this excessive amount of gold? And where are these rich people that are trading gold to those players? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's weird. I find it a bit weird. Let me see. What they need to implement as a cosmetic cash shop with shit you can only buy from playing the alpha phase. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, there was stuff exclusive, cosmetics you got when you couldn't play Alpha 2, right? That was the pre-order packs, right? So I personally don't mind that. I don't mind that one bit. I'm so ready to be a great sword wielding summoner. Crate runs. Well, that's what I mean, right? Like if all people were doing were crate runs, that's a lot. You know what I mean? And again, this is why, when I talked to you, Flanker, I told you about this. Like my hot take is I don't think crates and caravans should reward gold. I don't think there's ever going to be a way to limit that, or because because eventually I think the long term is that you would have to make crates less lucrative. Because I kind of understand your point, Flanker, that you were talking on the 1v1 about like that's why caravans are dead, because crates don't, your non-combatant status, no one's going to bother you, so you just, why run a caravan when you can just run crates endlessly? So in my mind, you kind of have to de-incentivize crates to then incentivize caravans. And I feel like people had way more fun in phase 2 and 1 with caravans, more so with crates. And the other big issue is the follow button. I think if you have a crate equipped, you can't follow that player. I think the follow should be grayed out. I don't mind if you're like, hey, we're going to run to the June Dark to go kill like a hawk or something like that to get the hawk bow. I'm going to follow you because I got to go pee. You should totally be able to do that. 100%. But I think if you have a crate equipped, you shouldn't. Like, I think that's a very easy fix on Intrepid's part. Yeah, we share a lot of the same viewpoints that what I have seen, but I think the game needs to be somehow a little bit more casual friendly. I need my workers. Well, that's what I mean, right? Like the casuals, there's always been this contention with like people saying like, oh, the casuals ruin the game, right? And coming from World of Warcraft, we've heard that a lot. Whether it was because of certain visions of like the group finder, or looking for group, looking for raid, like certain, some of those things, that this ease of access, that kind of the community and, the interaction of the community just got less and less and less and less. I'm not trying to do that. I love the fact that like, I wish there was like a board to make it kind of easier for players instead of just using the trade chat all the time, where they can go to a node and be like, hey, I want to do, a run somewhere, like let's say to Remnants of Civilian, I need players. And then people that go to Jova can look at that and be like, oh, I want to sign up. And they can sign up there. They can go to the board and sign up. And then the person who made the notification can get a notification and be like, hey, so-and-so signed up. And then you can whisper them, be like, hey, are you ready now? Or do you want to come in the group? Like, that's something that I think would be really, really cool. So that it still requires interaction, but there's something that instead of having to spam, hey, looking for players for Remnants, looking for a bar for Civilian, you could just have like a board that's in a town, and see if, hey, like I'm in Jova, is there any groups happening or whatever, just something easy. I'm not saying you should be teleported. I'm not saying that it should just be this automated thing, but there should be something to kind of help players find others. I think that's very important in MMORPG. I'd like to see caravans be the method of mass moving from crates, like how Arcade had halls for trade packs. Yeah, I think, well, in my mind, it's like that's what caravans should be. Caravan should be this thing where you have like 8 crates or 10 crates in the thing, and you're transporting like a shit ton of, you know, let's say basalt and granite to, let's say, the anvils, because one of the nodes there is going to be a node war, and they need a shit ton of basalt and granite to fortify their node for like 15% extra or 15% extra health to building walls. I can guarantee you that is very lucrative. You know, like you want to be able to just get a shit ton over there. That's going to be something that you're going to want to do. But that's also an incentive for the other side to be like, hey, we see caravans coming to our node. We know to try to destroy them, right? So it creates this like, you know, this kind of PvP that I think the PvPers are also wanting as well. You're not going to get that from crates. Like you're just not. But I just think crates currently are a little too lucrative, and I'm fine. Like I'm not going to be all upset about it, because at the end of the day, like this is what we have to test. Like certain values are going to be wrong. They're going to be off. They're not going to be good. But I think Intrepid has done pretty well, considering the fact that when something is wrong, the community is very good about saying what's wrong, but they're also very good about addressing it later. And so I understand they have, you know, sometimes they have bigger fish to fry. They have things going on. It sort of becomes an is what it is situation. I'm taking that idea, Vladis, from MMO. Thank you. Well, go ahead, man. A LFG party menu would be sick. Let them set a level range and add a note for what the party is aiming to do, like a get gear or glint. Yeah, and where. Yeah, I think having something to be more interactive, like I don't know about a menu, like you can just hit a button and then there's like this like group finder kind of thing. Like I come from WoW, I personally wouldn't mind it, but I just don't know how the community would react to something like that. Because I believe that creates more interaction, not less, in my opinion. But I believe the kind of interaction people want is that more intimate interaction. Does that make sense? Because you get a lot of interaction using something like that, but it's not the kind of interaction that players are wanting. So, because that's what happened in WoW. And then players, you know, the other problem too is that you were starting to party up with people that weren't on your server. So they were even more stranger to you, because it's like, well, I'm from this server, you're from that server. And then those players can just like leave. Oh, you didn't kill this boss the first time. I'm just going to bail, become a deserter. And now you can't fulfill the group. And now the group falls apart and you're fucked. So I would love if everything kind of stayed within the server. You know what I mean? I just want people to be able to find certain things on the server. Like if you knew you wanted to do a run in, let's say, Citadel of the Steel Bloom, but you don't want to do it right now, but you're not going to go out, you're going to gather some lumber, maybe you're going to mine some nodes or whatever the case is, and you want to like create a party, right? Well, you can slowly create that party using like a group finder or doing like the board in the node or the settlement. And as you know, you're playing or you're gathering, whatever, people start to sign up for your group. You know, like I think that's cool. Like I think that would be really helpful, you know, instead of constantly spamming, hey, I'm getting a group together for Remnants or for Steel Bloom. And it just, you know, it's just kind of this hassle of like having to keep to spam that over and over and over and over again. Like I think that becomes a little like cumbersome. I wish you would have crates from different towns to upgrade the city you're in. So you would have to have caravans to move them. Oh, that would be interesting. I mean, I think, you know, and this is the thing too. So many people have left amazing feedback in streams and YouTube comments. And I'm thinking, have you left this feedback like on a forum, like an official Ashes forum? Have you made a Reddit post about it? Like, please, for the love of God, if you have ideas for any of the systems in Ashes of Creation, go do a Reddit post, go to like the hashtags or like the Alpha 2 feedback hashtag in the Discord, or go to the Ashes of Creation forums and do a whole post there and leave your feedback. Like, I feel like so many people have great ideas, but they never actually get heard because they're not leaving them the proper channels. You know what I'm saying? So like, I encourage everyone, especially if you are a brand new player for P3 and you've been playing the game, please, for the love of God, leave some feedback. Please. It would be more difficult to implement. You don't know which nodes will level up, but it would kind of work in the similar way now anyway, since construction crates are crafted separately. Being able to set buy orders, or at least one, would be already great. Like creating quests for players instead of alts sitting in towns all day spamming. Yeah, I agree with that, man. Like, and again, I understand Steven doesn't want an alt friendly game, and I am a known altaholic. Hi, I'm Vladis. I'm an altaholic. I play everything under the sun in WoW. In most MMOs, I like to try a plethora of classes. It's really hard for me specifically to play an MMO and stick to one class. It's hard. It's every single time I see a class do some cool shit, and I'm like, I don't want to play it. So it's really hard for me to try to stick to like one class and only play that one class. But you know, if that's the kind of philosophy Ashes wants to have, like, it's just going to take me a bit to level. That's why I wish they have 8 character slots, because if I can have one of everything, at least it'll make me happy. Like, I think that'll be cool. I really want them to add to our user profile on the website to show whose referral link we used, or at least show just the referral code we used. I thought you could. I honestly thought that was something that you could see. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I believe in the past you were able to. I wish we could freely exchange items between alts. It's so annoying to bother other people. Yeah, I've said this, dude. I want, when you hit I for inventory, there should be a separate tab there that you can literally like put items or even gold for your alts. So only your alts can see that thing. So if you want to leave like some gear for, you know, whoever, like any of your alts can see that specific tab. I think that would be amazing. That would be such a great quality of life issue, or quality of life fix for a lot of players like myself. I feel like they will reduce it to 3 slots in the future. I would like 5, but they will probably reduce it. I hope not. God, I hope not. I think, Shadow, that I don't know why they would limit that. I understand where you're going with it, but wouldn't you want players to be excited to make new classes and not feel like, well, I made a bard, I made a rogue, and I made a fighter, but, you know, summoner looks really fun, but I can't try it. It sounds weird to me. You know what I mean? And it sounds like an annoyance that I think could actually cause players to quit the game. Like, I'm being serious. Like, because if they made a cleric and they had fun with it initially, but they found something else that was like way more fun, and then they get up to their cap and they're like, well, I guess I have to delete one. Like, they don't want to delete the cleric, even though they're probably not having fun with it, because they could make a patch that brings clerics into this new light or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it just doesn't sound good. Like, I really hope you're incorrect. Remove all flying mounts. 100% agree. I personally, I think gliding mounts just need to be a thing. Personally, I would rather just have, like, I think for people that are mayors or kings and queens of the castles or whatever, I think they should have a gliding mount that has flight capability for like a minute or 2. So like you have a time where you can actually like fly the way you currently are, but then once that goes away, your flying mount turns into a gliding mount, and then it has to land. So like, I think having, because currently the way it's supposed to be is that I think only tier 5 and tier 6 mayors of nodes will have, and kings and queens will have access to flying mounts, if I'm not mistaken. Like once or tiers 4 and 5 now, because 5 and 6 doesn't exist. 4 and 5 will have access to flying mounts. Gliding mount with heavy cooldowns on flying. Yeah, I think honestly that's the way to go. I think flying in ashes is just, it's so advantageous. Like, it's so ridiculously advantageous when it comes to gathering. Like, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think gathering should be limited. I think there's 5 gathering professions. I think you should have to choose 3. And that's it. Once you pick 3, you can't choose the other 2. If you want to choose another one, you have to delete one completely and then, you know, go back to that new one. And if you want to go back to your old one, you have to start all over. Because let's just be honest. Everybody being a gatherer, like, really puts people in certain spots. Like, especially when it comes to mining, when it comes to trees, and when it comes to herbs. But if you, let's say, are a hunter and a tree chopper and a herbalist, well, guess what? You can't, every mine you see, you can't go and get. Like, it forces you to skip over things. Now, mind you, I think what'll end up happening is you'll have the majority of, or probably a good portion of players do mining, herbing, and tree chopping, but that's going to give a huge advantage for the people that are fishermen and hunters, right? Because not many people, well, first of all, with fishing, you can fish wherever, but hunting, it's so limited right now that if people weren't getting bothered because they don't have the capacity to hunt, that leaves them for them, and it'll be more expensive because there's not, you know, many players that are hunters. So I personally think that they should actually limit gathering. Like, I think the more, and I had this take initially in phase 1, but I never said anything because I wanted to see, like, I wanted to see it play out. But the more I've played and the more I've gone, I mean, now being phase 3, I kind of think gathering needs to be limited. Like, I really do. But you know, that's just my take. I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong. It'd be interesting to see how the players would respond to something like that. Not just fix the problem where there was not enough hunt. Well, yeah, I mean, there's not enough trees either, right? So, I mean, I think mining nodes, I think, are in a good spot. Flowers are in a good spot. Fishing's in a good spot, of course. So I think it's just about increasing the amount of huntables that are out in the world, along with, you know, weeping willow, braidwood, and potentially even other. I've been in the Riverlands for 3 phases. Like, I've hardly been into the desert, the tropics, the June dark, or any of those, but I'm pretty sure that those biomes probably have the same issue with the tier 2 and tier 3 variants of willow or braidwood. They need to make other biomes viable as usable materials first. And one, the way they do that is by having actual full craftable sets, right? I think right now, everything is kind of just Riverlands based when it comes to the benches. So it's like, if you're not gathering Riverland stuff, well, you're not going to get gear. And so that's the other thing too, is that there's still thousands of recipes still on the table, because the June Dark is going to have its own separate gear that has June Dark recipes. So is the tropics, so is the desert, so is the Badlands, and so is the Redwood area and the anvils. Like, there's still so much that needs to be done economic wise and recipe wise. It's ridiculous. But I think the 2 areas they probably want to focus on right now is probably anvils and Riverlands, because Riverlands recipes still aren't done. There's still a lot left. Yeah, there will be too many recipes. Yeah, I know. But that's the whole point. You're not supposed to be in every single biome. Like, your guild eventually will go and kind of be at a home base of a biome. And that's where the majority of your guild will probably stay. Doesn't mean that your guild won't venture out and go to other places, but it all depends on where you want your end zone to be. Because really, Ashes of Creation, every non-starter zone could basically be an end game zone. There's 19 biomes currently. So if you take out, what is it, the 5 starting areas, there's 14 end game zones. That's a lot. That's a lot. You think about any other MMO, there's usually like 1 or 2 end game zones. That's it. Ashes is going to have 14. So there's so much to there's so much to do. Like it's crazy. Um let's that just separate the husbandry and hunting tool. There's a husbandry tool? Am I missing something? Yeah, players should have to think about biomes as their main area. Yeah, 100%. I think they also need to look at how they are making recipes. The flexibility just isn't there right now. Yeah, I think to me, I think there should be some sets that are universal. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can make this set. Like this is just kind of like a universal set. And a very easy thing, and they've done this, like if you go to the novice tools to make like a novice sickle or a novice mining tool, it just says timber. So you can actually process any T1 timber from any biome and make this novice tool, right? So I think if they just did something like that for some universal T1 sets, it kind of fixes the issue. So that way you can go to any biome and there will be universal sets that doesn't require like that specific biome stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I think when it comes to like, let's say T2 or T3 of that bracket, you're probably going to need some emblems. You're probably going to need some like named mob drops. You're probably going to need some very unique items. So they can't be as universal, but you know, you kind of see where I'm going. I think carcasses for crafting should be plentiful as flowers and trees are. See, I haven't done hunting, so I can't talk about it because I really don't know. I've never hunted. I've never processed carcasses at the stations. I would love if someone actually came and talked about it on the 1v1. I have Phantom. I'm going to talk to him next week, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And then I'm going to talk to Tango. He's in chat right now. I'm going to talk to him the week after. So, and then I have some other guests that I'm lining up too for 1v1s as well. Rogue equals Hunting King. Yeah, well, the majority of people that I know are hunters are actually rogues. I think Bobs should be recyclable because they are almost useless otherwise. Like, what do you mean when you mean like, what do you mean recyclable? Like, I'm curious. I'm curious to know what you mean by that. Oh, kill them for parts. Yeah, like why not? For mats? Yeah, 100%. I don't see the problem with that. Getting huntables isn't bad. It's the rarity that's bad. Well, and my thing too is, you know, once they start predicating the rarity to be based off of your stats, then it's going to be on, well, what is my tool looking like? What rarity is my tool? What, you know, do I have a shirt? Do I have the skivvies? Do I have the belt? Right? Like personally, I want right now, if you were to be a novice, all you can have is a tool and a shirt. I don't like that. I want every bracket, which means novice, apprentice, journeyman, to have the complete artisan set, like where that you can potentially buy or make. Like you should be able to get a tool, a shirt, a belt, and pants, you know, at novice, at apprentice, all the way to grandmaster. And then you can kind of scale like certain things like, okay, well, there's like a shirt that you can do for rarity, or there's a shirt you can do for spoils. There's a shirt you can do for speed or experience. Like we still haven't even got variants yet of certain things. We still haven't even gotten different bags. I remember Steven talking about bags in the sense of like, if you have certain bags, it takes like, if someone kills you, the looting of that person could take like twice as long based on the kind of bags you have. So like, we still don't even have that in the game yet, right? There's still, again, when it comes to recipes, like overall recipes, we're missing, we have like maybe 5%, maybe. Like we're still missing 95% of the recipes. Like it's kind of crazy. Let me see. There is still an issue with the high level huntable animals effectively locking out the killable animals. That is too easy fix that hasn't been addressed. Interesting. There's still an issue with the high level huntable effectively locking out Kill bombs. Has that been reported, Master Chief? Like, has that been like mass report? Like, a lot of the hunters have been like screaming from the rooftops about this particular. There's a freaking fly in here. For that particular issue. It only happens when a server is fresh. Okay, but has that specific thing been like do the devs know about it is what I'm asking. Like, has it been like, has the feedback been said, and has Intrepid acknowledged it? Yes. Okay. Well, then it's just a matter of time. I do want some crafting expression for people. No, me too. I wanted crafting to be in a way where you can almost create the stats on them, but it looks like they're not going in that direction. It's kind of going the way WoW is. Like, WoW has a static crafting recipe. You craft this thing and you're going to get these particular stats on them. Back in Alpha 1, you could actually craft certain pieces and put certain components in them that made it strength, agility, intellect, certain secondary stats on them. Like, you could actually create it yourself, kind of thing. But it looks like they're not going in that direction, which is kind of like a little disappointing, from my point of view. But I hope there is some agency that we will have as crafters to add something, like some flair to it that makes it our own. I hope there is. Question: do you think crafting gear should have PvP/PvE? Like max health or power? I think it's dump and unnecessary min-max chase. Do I think crafting gear should have PvP, PvE, like max health or power? Oh, like the crafting artisan gear. Is that what you're saying? The artisan gear that should have like actual like stats on them? Yeah, no. I know I talked to Pockets about this. He completely disagrees with me, and that's fine. I don't like that. I mean, because imagine if you put like crafting stats in your PvE stuff. Oh, your regalia has, hunting spoils 300 on it, but I'm not a hunter. You know what I mean? Or I'm not a hunter. Like, it's weird. Like, let gear be gear, right? Let PvE stuff be PvE stuff. Let artisan be artisan. Like, you don't need to mix them. Like, you don't. Like, actually, what I want is I want multiple. So right now for artisan gear, you have all your tools that you can socket, and then you have one row where you can put in your chest, your skivvies, your belt, and like a crowbar. I want 3 more or 5. I want basically to have at least like 5 rows of that, because if I want to put, because it sucks. It's like, especially if you're a gatherer and let's say you have like the herbing stuff, like your herbing shirt, your pants, your stuff like that. But you have a bunch of flowers that you can get, and then you want to mine something. Oh, I got to switch out my mining stuff for my, it's messy. It's like, dude, just give me more slots so that way I can actually gather, I can chop a tree, I can mine a node, I can pick a flower, and I don't have to change out my gear every time. Like, that to me is probably one of the most annoying parts. Let me see. An animal that's needing journeyman processing should not spawn as capturable until the building has been unlocked for the hunters. So you are giving a single hunter the entire biome of animals, and every one else that needs to kill the animal for other reasons are just fucked. Now I see your point. No, yeah, that shouldn't be happening. And I think maybe, hopefully, maybe that's be in the 0.17 or even the 0.18 update. We'll have to wait and see. let me see, the main thing is the most hardcore artisans won't have particularly good regular gear. It will be their artisan gear that's got the love. Well, yeah, and I think it's fine. Like there's some people that don't really want to concentrate on adventuring, on their adventuring and PvE gear anyway. They want to be, and Steven has said this, like, you know, we've asked Steven, is gathering or processing or crafting or being an artisan, could that be a viable way for a person to level in Ashes of Creation? And he says yes. Like it's not going to be the most efficient way, but it will be a way to level in the game. And currently, if you're a processor of any kind, you know how lucrative it is XP wise. Like there's been many people that actually, if you have the gold, can process and go from like level 15 to level 25 just processing. So, I mean, it's definitely possible. And I don't see anything wrong with that. You need people that are niche like that. You know, the players that may not give a shit about like the POIs or the grind spots or whatever, but they'll be on all day chopping trees, or they'll be on all day fishing. You know, you need those kind of players, you know? So I really, really hope that, that stays the way it is. Our crafter just forgot to put clothes on and rip 600G. Oh my God. That's what I mean. Oh, dude, that sucks. Unlocking those animals as huntable until the profession has been unlocked seems a straightforward answer. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I leveled from 1 to 19 this phase only from gathering and processing. Yeah. Dude, this fucking fly is bothering the shit out of me. My God. Oh. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I think, you know, I was thinking that a wipe probably wasn't going to happen or even a fresh start because there's still so many like fine-tuned things that they need to do in my eyes in order for a fresh start to be viable. And there's even stuff like the Vaseline, right? The UI stuff. Like when P3 started, like Intrepid had to hard level certain nodes. And, you know, they said, well, XP wasn't lost, but was it? Because you had to manually do it. Like, so we still have issues with that. We still have issues with like the Vaseline portion. We still have XP allocation issues to the settlements. Like that, like once that gets fixed, we got to see, does it actually work? You know what I mean? Like if we do a brand new server, do the fixes that we've done in the past, are they actually going to work efficiently? I've said this before, but we literally now for 3 phases, phase 3 was probably the closest, but we have not leveled the nodes ourselves. Like Intrepid had to step in to do something. So that is a huge system that needs to be corrected and needs to be fixed. And so there's so much, like other than just the economic stuff, right? Or even like the crate issue stuff. Like we still haven't even got the instance housing yet for settlements. We haven't got back yet freeholds. There's still so much that they're trying to zero in on before they start adding the layers on the foundation, right? So we're fixing the foundation, we're repaving the foundation. At first I thought that fly was at my house. Dude, it's so annoying, man. It's so annoying. And I have these two spotlights and they just keep like buzzing back and forth with them. Oh, so annoying. I didn't think P3 was ready for fresh start. No, honestly, and I said this before, you can go back to Reddit. I was begging for them to delay P3. I feel like all of these issues we've been encountering, if we were just still, if the live server was still in 2.5 and we were testing and doing all this stuff on the PTR, I feel like it wouldn't have mattered as much because the investment from players just wouldn't have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like we still would have probably figured out the overlay thing. That probably still would have came out, or maybe not. Who knows? The issues to like the economy, the processing, the crafting, the crate duping, the nodes, the Vaseline, you know, like all the stuff. Like I feel like if we were still in the PTR, like it probably would have been better, but maybe this needed to happen, you know? Like I'm a huge advocate of like, as much as I wanted it to not, for P3 not to have started when it did, just hang up some fly tapes off the, yeah, dude, I usually don't have flies in our house. Like it's just weird that I have a freaking fly in my freaking room. Let me see. Fresh start will not really solve the problem that the average Andes have. Mega servers will control the starting grounds period. At least now they spread into other areas. Mega guilds. Yeah, no, I get that. He was supposed to make epic a la carte items and made heroic because forgot clothes. Stupid. And I feel like the fly's not staying still, even if I were to get the fly swatter right now. It's not even gonna do anything. But yeah, it's just this phase was so it wasn't the phase 3 that we were thinking it was going to be. You know what I mean? Like phase 3, everybody had this idea of phase 3 and it just didn't happen the way we were kind of hoping it was going to happen, you know? It was just a bit unfortunate, like how it all played out. So guys, I'm probably going to go ahead and get off. My throat is killing me. Yes, last Friday when I was on, my throat, like I feel was just ugh. And I've been sick. My whole house is sick right now. My daughter, my little baby daughter's sick. I had to put Vicks on her, and my wife is sick. My 9-year-old is sick. It's like everybody's freaking sick. I feel like the real phase 3 is like a year out. I feel like phase 3 isn't probably going to get into its stride until next year. I think so. Every 2-ish months, we have like a brand new, like a point, like, so like that's the point, not every 2 months, but it's like a big thing, like Harbingers, right? So I feel like Harbinger's coming out in November. So I mean, December, I feel like January is probably going to be another big push. And I hope maybe that January could actually bring the reworks to classes and the new talent trees. That would be amazing if we can get like reworks to previous classes, changes, new passives, new abilities potentially, ranks, because remember that like ranks are going to be into the new talent trees. So I think just seeing that would be amazing. Master Chief, dude, thank you so much for the follow, brother. Thank you. Oh my God, it's Pockets. Just when we're about to end stream. I wonder why they haven't been testing the new talent trees. I'm pretty sure they've been testing them internally. It's just they're probably not ready yet. Again, I remember Steven saying that every class was supposed to have 35 to 40 abilities, and most classes have anywhere between 20-ish. And that in some classes that includes the passives, so we don't even have like all the abilities, you know. So let me see who is streaming. Let's see. Oh, to Santos Games. I've rated him before. There's Willie. Whetstone. Okay. I'll go and rate him. Oh, Graven's already there. All right. I'll take I'm gonna go, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you like the video on YouTube, hit that heart button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys.